The vast emptiness of space stretched before the research vessel, its sleek metallic hull gleaming under distant starlight. Hannah Kim sat perfectly still, her emerald-colored eyes fixed on the holographic display tracking an incoming human spacecraft. Her species, known for their analytical precision, had spent decades preparing for this moment of first direct contact. Jay Park entered the observation chamber, completely unaware of the intense scrutiny he was about to experience. His military-issued uniform hung loosely on his broad shoulders, a testament to years of physical training. To Hannah, every movement seemed both alien and fascinating. The scanning equipment hummed softly, translating biological data into complex, mathematical patterns. Hannah's three-fingered hands moved swiftly across the control panel, recording every minute detail of the human specimen before her. Her species had extensive digital archives about humans, but nothing compared to a live observation. Jay shifted his weight, causing Hannah to momentarily freeze. Her species interpreted movement differently. Each slight adjustment appeared like a potential threat display. She watched his breathing, noted the rhythm of his heartbeat displayed on her secondary screen, and tracked the micro-movements of his muscles. Something peculiar caught her attention. A slight protrusion in his lower body region triggered her scientific curiosity. Her preliminary research suggested humans had complex biological mechanisms, but this specific configuration seemed unusual. Her antennae, small sensory appendages barely visible beneath her research uniform, twitched with excitement. The chamber's temperature remained constant, but Hannah's internal temperature regulation system began working over time. Excitement, fear, and pure scientific curiosity merged into a complex emotional state her species rarely experienced. Humans represented an unpredictable variable in the known galactic ecosystem. Jay remained casual, apparently unaware of the microscopic examination happening around him. He stretched slightly, causing Hannah to inadvertently press a wrong button on her control panel. A soft beeping sound echoed through the chamber, making him turn slightly. Their eyes met. For a brief moment, two entirely different evolutionary paths connected through a simple glance. Hannah's large, slightly reflective eyes contrasted with Jay's warm brown human eyes. Neither spoke, but volumes of unspoken communication passed between them. Her initial scans revealed something unexpected. The human's physiological responses didn't match any known biological templates in her extensive database. His muscle tension, respiratory rate, and subtle hormonal fluctuations suggested complexity beyond standard mammalian parameters. Jay noticed her intense staring and raised an eyebrow, a gesture completely foreign to Hannah's understanding. She quickly adjusted her scanning equipment, hoping he hadn't noticed her momentary lapse in professional composure. The observation chamber continued its silent symphony of scientific exploration. Advanced sensors captured every microscopic detail, from the slight perspiration on Jay's forehead to the almost imperceptible movements of his respiratory system. Hannah's research would revolutionize interspecies understanding. Her preliminary notes would later describe this encounter as unprecedented biological complexity. Little did she know that her interpretation of human anatomy would become a legendary misunderstanding in scientific circles. Jay remained blissfully unaware that he was about to become the subject of the most comprehensive and, accidentally, hilarious xenobiological research documentation in galactic history. As the observation continued, Hannah's excitement grew. Humans were not just another species to be catalogued and studied. They were a walking, breathing puzzle waiting to be solved, with each movement presenting a new, intriguing question. The chamber's soft lighting cast subtle shadows, creating an almost theatrical atmosphere for this momentous first encounter. Science exploration and pure human unpredictability converged in this single breathtaking moment. Hannah Kim didn't realize it yet, but her entire understanding of biological research was about to be fundamentally challenged, and it would all start with a simple misinterpretation of human anatomy. The first encounter had begun. Would you like me to continue with the next part of the story? Hannah's research report began taking shape, her fingers dancing across the holographic keyboard with increasing intensity. Each observation about Jay Park seemed to defy her species' conventional understanding of biological structures. What started as a routine scientific documentation quickly transformed into something far more complicated. The initial scans revealed an anatomical configuration that made absolutely no sense to her. A particular bodily feature, which she mistakenly interpreted as a potential defensive mechanism, became the centerpiece of her growing confusion. Her preliminary notes described it as a probable emergency survival appendage with multiple potential tactical functions. In her mind, this wasn't just an observation. It was a potential breakthrough in understanding human biological adaptability. Humans, after all, were known for their remarkable survival skills across different environmental conditions. This appendage could be something revolutionary. Her research team, located on a distant space station, received her initial report with a mixture of scientific curiosity and barely contained bewilderment. The translation algorithm struggled to convert her technical observations into something remotely comprehensible. Potential bioweapon detected, one section of her report read. Subject demonstrates remarkable capacity for concealed adaptive mechanism. What Hannah didn't understand was how spectacularly wrong her interpretation would turn out to be. The research station's communication network buzzed with her detailed findings. Senior researchers reviewed her documentation, their facial expressions shifting between professional curiosity and suppressed amusement. Something about her description seemed unusual. J. Park, completely unaware of being the subject of such intense scientific scrutiny, continued his routine military duties. He had no idea that his simple anatomical existence was about to become an intergalactic scientific mystery. Hannah's species possessed advanced scanning technology that could detect microscopic changes in biological structures. Every movement, every slight muscle tension was recorded and analyzed. What seemed like a normal human movement to Jay was to Hannah a complex choreography of biological signals. Her three-fingered hands moved quickly, creating complex holographic models of her observations. Each model became more intricate, more detailed, and increasingly divorced from actual human reality. She was building an entire theoretical framework based on a fundamental misunderstanding. The research station's junior scientists began whispering. Something about Hannah's report seemed off, but nobody wanted to challenge her comprehensive documentation. Her reputation as a meticulous researcher was well established across multiple star systems. Hours turned into days. More scans, more observations, more misinterpretations. Hannah's scientific passion drove her deeper into her incorrect assumptions. She was constructing an elaborate theory about human biological adaptation that was completely hilariously wrong. Her report suggested that humans possessed a tactical survival mechanism that could be deployed under extreme conditions. The appendage, she observed, was, in her mind, a marvel of evolutionary engineering. She imagined complex scenarios where this feature could provide survival advantages in hostile environments. Little did she know that her entire understanding was based on a simple misinterpretation of basic human anatomy. The research station's communication protocols ensured that her documentation would be distributed across multiple scientific networks. Researchers from different star systems would soon have access to her groundbreaking, yet completely incorrect findings. J. Park continued his daily routine, absolutely unaware that he had become the unwitting center of the most amusing scientific misunderstanding in galactic history. Hannah's excitement grew with each passing hour. She was convinced she was on the verge of a major scientific discovery. Her career would be defined by this breakthrough, this unique understanding of human biological complexity. Her species valued scientific precision above all else. The idea that she might be completely wrong never occurred to her. Each scan, each observation, seemed to confirm her growing theory about human biological adaptability. The stage was set for a scientific revelation that would soon become legendary, not for its accuracy, but for its spectacular, hilarious incorrectness. Would you like me to continue with the next part of the story? The diplomatic communication channels erupted into controlled chaos the moment Hannah's research report reached the interstellar diplomatic corps. Yoon Choi, the senior diplomatic translator, received the first encrypted transmission and immediately knew something extraordinary was about to unfold. Her hands trembled slightly as she began decoding the complex scientific language. What she discovered made her blink repeatedly, wondering if the translation algorithms were malfunctioning. They weren't. The report was precisely as Hannah had written it. In the central communication hub, diplomats from various alien species gathered around holographic displays. The human delegation sat quietly, their faces a mixture of professional composure and barely contained amusement. Something about the alien research report had caught their attention. Ambassador Rodriguez, a seasoned human diplomat with decades of interstellar experience, leaned forward. His eyes scanned the document, and a small muscle near his mouth twitched, the beginning of a suppressed laugh. "Ladies and gentlemen," Yoon announced, her voice professional but slightly strained, "we have received a comprehensive research report about human biological structures." The room fell silent. Alien representatives from different star systems waited with scientific curiosity. They expected a routine xenobiological documentation. What they were about to hear was anything but routine. Yoon began reading the translation. Each sentence became more complicated, more bizarre. The alien representatives listened with increasing confusion. The human delegation, in contrast, struggled to maintain diplomatic composure. Hannah's report described human anatomy as a complex survival mechanism. She had interpreted a simple biological feature as an advanced defensive adaptation. Her scientific language was impeccable, her reasoning seemingly logical, and completely, hilariously wrong. The Krillian representative, known for their rigid scientific approach, raised a tentacle-like appendage. "This requires further investigation," he stated formally, completely missing the underlying humor. Ambassador Rodriguez couldn't hold back a small chuckle. Years of diplomatic training were quickly dissolving in the face of such a magnificent misunderstanding. Yoon continued reading, her professional translator's voice maintaining perfect neutrality. But her eyes betrayed her. They were slightly wider, suggesting she was working hard to suppress her own amusement. The report went into intricate details about human bioweapon capabilities, describing something that was, in reality, a completely normal part of human anatomy. Each paragraph added another layer of comedic misinterpretation. Alien scientists began taking notes. They viewed this as a serious scientific document, completely unaware of the hilarious mistake at its core. Their specialized translation devices converted Hannah's observations into their respective scientific languages, preserving every delightful misunderstanding. The human delegation exchanged knowing glances. They understood exactly what had happened, but diplomatic protocol prevented them from immediately revealing the truth. "We will need to schedule a comprehensive review," the Krillian representative announced, completely serious. "This discovery could revolutionize our understanding of human biological adaptability." Ambassador Rodriguez bit his lip, preventing a full-blown laugh from escaping. Years of diplomatic training were being tested in this moment. Yoon continued translating, her professional demeanor a masterclass in diplomatic composure. Each sentence added another layer to the growing comedic misunderstanding. The communication hub buzzed with excitement. Research stations across multiple star systems began preparing follow-up investigations. Funding was being discussed. Research teams assembled, all based on a fundamental misunderstanding of human anatomy. Jay Park, the unsuspecting subject of this entire scientific adventure, remained completely unaware. He was likely somewhere on the military base, going about his daily routine, with no idea he had become the center of an intergalactic scientific mystery. The diplomatic chaos was just beginning. What started as a simple research observation was about to become a legendary tale of scientific misinterpretation. Would you like me to continue with the next part of the story? The Xenanthropology Research Center buzzed with nervous energy. Dr. Emily Chen, a renowned human expert in cross-species communication, prepared herself for the most delicate conversation of her career. Hannah Kim sat across from her, her three-fingered, hands clasped tightly, scientific curiosity burning in her emerald eyes. "I will explain human anatomy," Dr. Chen began, her voice calm and measured. The translation device hummed softly, converting her words into Hana's native language with perfect precision. Hana leaned forward, her entire body language screaming scientific anticipation. She had spent weeks believing she had discovered something revolutionary about human biological structures. The truth was about to shatter her carefully constructed theories. Dr. Chen pulled up holographic displays, showing detailed human anatomical models. Each projection was clinical, precise, designed to remove any potential misunderstandings. She understood this was more than just a scientific explanation. This was a cultural bridge being constructed moment by moment. The first revelation came slowly. Dr. Chen explained basic human physiological characteristics, breaking down Hana's complex theories piece by piece. With each explanation, Hana's facial expressions transformed. Confusion gave way to embarrassment, then to a strange mixture of scientific fascination and personal mortification. What you interpreted as a defensive mechanism, Dr. Chen explained, carefully, is actually a completely normal biological feature, not a weapon, not a survival adaptation, simply a part of human anatomy. Hana's translation device caught every nuance. Her species valued scientific truth above personal pride, which made this moment both painful and fascinating. She was learning that scientific observation required more than just advanced scanning technology. It needed cultural understanding. The research center's walls seemed to absorb the tension. Other researchers watched through one-way observation screens, witnessing a moment of profound interspecies communication. This wasn't just a scientific explanation, this was a cultural revelation. Dr. Chen used simple diagrams, comparative biological models, and patient explanations. She broke down Hana's complex theories with surgical precision. Each explanation was a gentle deconstruction of her misunderstandings. Hana's initial embarrassment slowly transformed into pure scientific fascination. Humans were far more complex than her initial research suggested. Their biological structures contained nuances her species had never considered. "Your mistake," Dr. Chen said kindly, "is not uncommon in cross-species research. Cultural context matters as much as biological scanning." The translation device captured her words perfectly. Hana's antennae, small sensory appendages barely visible, twitched with a mixture of emotions: embarrassment, curiosity, respect. Her research team would receive a completely different report, not a document of misunderstanding, but a breakthrough in cross-species communication. She was transforming her mistake into a scientific opportunity. Hours passed. The holographic displays continued their detailed explanations. Dr. Chen demonstrated human biological variations, cultural differences, and the complex nature of mammalian evolutionary adaptations. Hana's initial rigid scientific perspective began shifting. She was learning that scientific observation required more than just technological scanning. It needed empathy, cultural understanding, and a willingness to accept that initial interpretations could be fundamentally wrong. The research center's ambient lighting seemed to soften, creating an almost intimate learning environment. Two different species, separated by light years and evolutionary paths, were finding common ground through patient explanation and mutual respect. By the conversation's end, Hana understood something profound. Scientific discovery was not about proving theories, but about being willing to completely remake those theories when new information emerged. Dr. Chen watched her carefully. She had seen many alien researchers struggle with human complexity, but Hana was different. Her willingness to learn, to admit her misunderstandings, marked her as a truly exceptional researcher. "Would you like to continue learning?" Dr. Chen asked, her smile gentle and encouraging. Hana's response was immediate and enthusiastic. "Yes," she said, her translation device capturing her excitement. "I want to understand everything. The cultural revelation had begun. Would you like me to continue with the final part of the story?" 3 years after her initial misunderstanding, Hana Kim stood on the stage of the Galactic Scientific Conference. Thousands of researchers from multiple star systems watched her presentation, their eyes locked on the holographic displays behind. Her research paper, Misinterpreted Mammalian Anatomical Configurations, A case study in cross-species understanding was about to become legendary. What had started as a spectacular misunderstanding had transformed into a groundbreaking approach to xenobiological research. Jay Park sat in the audience, completely unaware that he was the original subject of her most famous research. He looked professional, slightly bored, dressed in his military uniform. Nobody except a few close colleagues knew his role in this scientific adventure. Scientific discovery, Hannah began, her voice clear and confident, is not about being right. It's about being willing to be wrong. The conference hall fell silent. Her words carried weight beyond their simple structure. Each researcher understood the profound truth behind her statement. Her presentation detailed her journey from complete misunderstanding to comprehensive cultural learning. Holographic images showed her initial incorrect scans, the diplomatic chaos that followed, and the patient explanations that transformed her understanding. Dr. Emily Chen, her mentor, watched from the front row. A small smile played on her lips. She knew this presentation would change xenobiological research forever. Hannah explained how her initial mistake became a breakthrough in interspecies communication. Her research now provided a comprehensive framework for understanding biological differences beyond technological scanning. The Krillian research delegation, who had previously taken her initial incorrect report seriously, now looked impressed. Her ability to transform a potential embarrassment into a scientific breakthrough was remarkable. Humans are not just another species to be studied, Hannah explained. They are a complex, adaptive civilization with nuanced biological and cultural characteristics that cannot be reduced to simple scanning. Each word was translated into multiple alien languages, preserving the depth of her message. Scientists from different star systems leaned forward, captivated by her presentation. Her research had practical implications. Future xenobiological. Teams would now approach human studies with more cultural sensitivity, more comprehensive understanding. What had started as a misunderstanding would now become a standard approach in interspecies research. The awards came quickly. The Galactic Scientific Medal of Excellence, the Interstellar Research Innovation Award. Each recognition validated her journey from confusion to understanding. Jay Park, still unaware of his role in this scientific story, continued his military duties. He would never know how a simple misunderstanding had revolutionized scientific research. During the conference's social hour, researchers surrounded Hannah. They wanted to understand her approach, her methodology. How had she transformed a potential professional disaster into a groundbreaking research paper? Dr. Chen approached her, pride evident in her eyes. "You have changed how we understand cross-species research," she said quietly. Hannah's response was humble. "I simply learned to listen," she replied. The conference hall buzzed with excitement. Her presentation would be studied, discussed, and referenced for years to come. A single misunderstanding had opened up entirely new research possibilities. As the evening concluded, Hannah reflected on her journey. From a young researcher making a spectacular mistake to a respected scientist challenging existing research methodologies. Her story was more than a scientific breakthrough. It was a testament to human curiosity, alien adaptability, and the universal language of scientific discovery. The unexpected conclusion was simple. True understanding comes not from advanced technology, but from patience, humility, and a willingness to learn. Jay Park would never know how a simple misunderstanding had become a scientific legend, but somewhere in the vast universe, a story of human complexity and alien curiosity would continue to inspire generations of researchers. Science had found its most unexpected hero. Would you like me to elaborate on any part of the story?